Thanks so much for your company. Straight to our very first story. Family of a 16-year-old boy, Kofi David, who was electrocuted 2 months ago and sustained burns, is appealing for support to help pay his medical bills and help acquire prosthetics for him. Now, the incident happened when a curtain rod he was holding touched a high-tension electric wire. His limbs have been amputated due to what is being described as dry gangrene. Joy News' Upper West Regional correspondent Rafik Salam has the rest of the story, and this report contains sensitive visuals. Viewer discretion is advised.
It was a quiet and promising Sunday morning on December 10 last year. Residents of Dormo in the Wawas district were going about their normal daily activities. 16-year-old Kofi David and his uncle Tanya Donyi are members of the Assemblies of God Church. By extension, they are regular worshippers of the church on Sundays. Kofi lost his biological father 6 years ago, and the responsibility of taking care of him and 6 of his siblings fell on his father's twin brother, Tanya Donyi, who also had 7 children. On that fateful day, Kofi was sent by his uncle to take curtain rods to the church for fixing up the curtains for the church service. On his way, the curtain rod fell on the ground. In his attempt to pick it upright, the curtain rod, which is about 9 meters, came into contact with high-tension pole wires and later referred to the Upper West Regional Hospital.
Nurses at the Dormo Health Center told us that his condition was above them, and we have to transport him to the regional hospital on a tricycle. To be honest, we least expected him to survive, but God made it happen.
Doctors at the Upper West Regional Hospital, upon arrival of Kofi at the emergency unit of the hospital, first worked to resuscitate him and later took care of the burns. Dr. Gordon Pututa is a medical officer in charge of the general surgery department of the hospital, and he shared insight on the issue.
We had to resuscitate him at the emergency, and he had sustained some full thickness burns to both lower limbs and also part of his trunk, the upper trunk, and then the back as well. So after some initial resuscitation efforts, he was much better, which we transferred him to the burns unit, as we can see where we are currently. Then he has been with us, wound dressing, and he has become way better than we initially saw him when he first came. And we had to take those measures because he could have died of sepsis because of the dry gangrene that he sustained. So we had to take that decision to amputate both limbs just to save his life, for which we are glad that we have done. In the near future, possibly a possibility that he could do well with some prosthesis. This is a very young guy that we've amputated bilaterally, and we can't confine him to a wheelchair for the rest of his life. So in the long term, we are looking at getting some prosthesis. If the help comes, we can actually do design or refer him to a place where that can be done for him, get some prosthesis that can help him with his movements as he goes about his duties.
All will, however, depend on the availability of funds, which requires the support of benevolent organizations and individuals.
We don't wish this happens to anyone, but any of us can find ourselves in a situation like this, and this is something that he requires so much help. The family has been so much constrained. They've been with him since day one, spent so much, almost everything that they've had, they've actually used it on this boy, and it's not something that they planned that will happen, but you know, they have to do all their best. So we appeal to the public, if you can help in any way possible, you can come to their aid by giving your donations out, and then we hope that in the near future, in a few months' time, Kofi will be out of this place, working happily with his family and going back to school.
For him to survive, he needs about 275 Ghana cedis. And the work that the father and the mother are doing, they can't afford such a fee for a day. And so they are appealing to the public to really come to their aid. At the moment, the family has over 3,000 Ghana cedis of unpaid bills at the hospital. Kofi's financial burden rests solely on his poor tailor uncle, Donyi Tanye, and his weak firewood selling mother, who has so far spent over 6,500 Ghana cedis on him since his electrocution 2 months ago. Concerned about the plight of the family, the Dormo Youth and Development Association, led by its president, Hussein Isaka, donated a cash amount of 3,000 Ghana cedis to help in offsetting some of his medical bills.
The community thought it wise to organize ourselves and get something small to support the family for the upkeep of the boy. But there's still a lot that needs to be done. We are therefore, through this medium, appealing to Ghanaians, the people of Wa West, the people of the Upper West region, to come to our aid, to support us in this difficult moment.
Tanya Donyi was grateful for the donation and appealed to other benevolent organizations to come to their aid.
As I'm standing now, I cannot take care of Kofi again. He is now like a child. I cannot leave him on his own and do my tailoring work. I have to carry him around to either go to toilet or the urinary. I am appealing to all Ghanaians to support me in these difficult times.
Reporting for Joy News, Rafik Salam. Wow.
So another sad story, a 46-year-old man who has lost his sight, mobility and memory to brain tumor is currently battling for his life. The once vibrant preacher was diagnosed with a brain tumor 5 years ago after the loss of his wife. Now, lack of finances to help him undergo surgery has led to the worsening of his health, compelling his 19-year-old daughter to abandon her education to take care of him. The family say they need some 120,000 cedis to restore his health. Joy News' James Aveji has the rest of the story.
Pastor Ambrose Amuyao is just 46, but he looks older and hangs on life by a stitch. He used to be a public service worker, but later became a preacher of the gospel at the Crossover Evangelistic Ministry in his active days. Pastor Ambrose's woes began 5 years ago when he lost his wife. He suffered severe headaches until he was diagnosed a year later with brain tumor. The condition has since led to a loss of sight, partial stroke, and memory loss.
My mind is come to I remember some of the things that.
In our conversation, he struggles to recollect anything from the past. Only two things are printed on his failing memory: his late wife and his only daughter, Vanessa.
Master, it is well. I heard a voice.
You recollect her voice, the things she used to say.
I recollect the voice of my wife. Recollect.
Pastor Ambrose was nearly brought to tears when I asked him about his daughter. He said he had had plans for her.
It is well. It is well. When I say it is well, it is something that I've developed for a long time ago, that it is well.
What were your wishes for her?
Abba, Professor. Professor. I wanted to promote her to professor level. Professor level. Professor level. He will go. She will go. She will go to that level of my thinking.
Just like his failing health, his hope is fading fast by the day. His daughter, 19-year-old Vanessa, who completed senior high school 2 years ago, says she had no choice than to shelve her aspirations and take care of her father.
Finishing school, I wasn't told that he was sick because I was preparing for my final year exam. So when I got back, I realized he was sick and I had to stay home to take care of him since there was no one to do that. When mommy passed away, she was like, I'm the only one, so She was the one I always speak with, and she passed away. Well, I didn't lose hope because I knew that he was around. Then a year later, he also was diagnosed of a brain tumor. And he can't see, he can't even speak fluently with you, and always lonely in the house, and it became miserable for me. I'm sometimes tempted to question God because he's his servant, and why did he look to see him go through this, knowing he's the only one I have? I sometimes cry also, but it is well. It is well.
She says she had wanted to be an embryologist to help people have babies of their own.
I love children. I love to see people with... I never had a sibling, so I would love to help people. I would love to create babies for people. Yes.
Vanessa's effort to help her dad doesn't seem enough because time is running out on him. They will need some 120,000 Ghana cedis to perform a brain surgery on Pastor Ambrose to restore his health. But the family of two who live in a rented house here at Old Ashoman do not have the means. They want the public to help.
It's just unbearable for me, but I'm still trusting God. God is able to do everything. What men think is impossible is what is possible to God. So I still trust God that he can do something, and Daddy will not die. Daddy will stay with me, see me become the professor he wants me to be. I'm reaching out to everybody out there to help us, to help Daddy in this critical condition. Yeah.
Pastor Ambrose says he has just one wish.
I wish I should be made perfectly well to the glory of God.
So you want to get back to ministry?
Exactly what my purpose is.
To do what?
To go and preach the gospel to the world.
You feel you are not done with your work?
Yes, please. I am not done at all.
He's currently on admission at the Rich Hospital because his condition has worsened in the last few days. As he waits for his wish to get back to his feet to preach the gospel once again comes true, his hope hangs on your benevolence as every minute counts in saving him. James Savaji, Joy News.
Such a touching story there, no amount is too small. Now, the chief executive of Echimakwa district of the Ashanti Region, Prince Kakari, has been treated and discharged from the hospital after his official vehicle crashed into a school bus at Nanchia near Koko on the Kumasi-Accra highway. His driver and 3 other passengers who were on board the vehicle have also been discharged. The accident has claimed 4 lives, including a female teacher and 3 pupils aged between 4 and 15 years. A 9-year-old girl died en route to the Kofi David Regional Hospital when the ambulance transporting her and 1 other victim broke down after it developed a fault. 16 other pupils are still on admission. 2 victims who are in critical condition have also been transferred to the Komfo Anoti Teaching Hospital and the Kofi David Regional Hospital for further treatment. Now, the police have begun investigations into the death of Eric Beu, who was reportedly stabbed to death on the dawn of Thursday, February 15, by suspected armed robbers at Ashaman in the Greater Accra region. The unfortunate incident is said to have occurred about 4:30 a.m. near Goodness Filling Station at the Ashaman's main Trotro bus stop. Now, in the last couple of hours, the police have issued a statement in relation to this sad incident, and there you go on your screens. It reads, the Ghana Police Service has commenced investigations into the circumstances surrounding the death of a 47-year-old male adult at Ashaman in the Greater Accra region. The deceased, identified as Eric Beu, a trader, was allegedly stabbed by an assailant currently on the run on Thursday, 15 February 2024. It goes on to read, the body of the deceased has since been deposited at the police hospital morgue for preservation and autopsy. The Tema Regional Police Commander today, 16 February 2024, led a police delegation to commensurate with the family of the deceased and assured them of a thorough investigation into the incident. Meanwhile, an intelligence-led operation is underway to get the perpetrators arrested to face justice. To one of our headline stories, the family of an 18-year-old male student of Kimo Senior High Technical School in Greater Accra is demanding answers to the bizarre circumstances under which their son lost his life. In August last year, 6 students of Kimo Technical were reported to have left school during lesson hours to go swim at the beach behind the Black Star Square in Accra. Kingsley Mafu, the 18-year-old, reportedly drowned while swimming. 6 months on, the family claims the case has gone cold and is accusing the police of failing to invite any of the suspects linked to Kingsley's death for interrogation.
The Kimo Senior High School is located in the heart of the Central Business District. Although gated, students are able to escape instructional hours and make it to beach without obtaining permission from the school authorities. On August 8 last year, 6 Form 1 technical students of the Kimo Senior High Technical School were reported to have left school for the Bola Beach behind the Black Star Square. 5 of the students returned, but their colleague, Kingsley Mafu, was conspicuously missing. The 5 students brought back Kingsley's school bag, uniform, shoes, a Casio FX 991 calculator, and a headset, but they failed to report their missing colleague to anyone. On Friday, August 11, 2023, eyewitnesses present at the Bola Beach at the time of the incident went to report the incident to the Kimo School authorities. The school then informed the parents of the missing student. On September 9, 2023, the auntie of the missing boy, Erama Mafu, lodged an official complaint with the ministry's Divisional Police Command. However, investigations are yet to be conducted into the case 6 clear months after the police took over the matter. Also, the police are yet to invite the 5 students for interrogation. Headmistress of the Kimo Senior High Technical School, Sylvia Tay, told this reporter in a telephone conversation that she will not engage the media on Kingsley Mafu's disappearance or comment on the students' frequent escape of instructional hours. The family has meanwhile been seeking answers from the school. I followed up to the ministry's police station, but the police declined to disclose any detail to me. Later, I obtained some photographs through my investigations into the case. Apparently, these were pictures taken by people who witnessed the incident that led to the disappearance of Kingsley Mafu at the beach. In the photographs, faces of 2 of the eyewitnesses were visible, so I decided to track them. Mensa Guinea, a slum settlement behind the Arts Center in Accra, is a dwelling place of the eyewitnesses. One of the 2 guys in the picture was identified as Shaggy, a regular horse rider at the Bola Beach. Further investigations led me to 2 other principal eyewitnesses, Daniel Essien and Saliu Awudu, a Nigerian national. Both are divers at the Bola Beach. The incident of that fateful day is still fresh on Daniel's mind.
We were there where we saw 6 boys along the seaside where they were having fun, but two of them, my brothers from the seas, were inside the water bathing. So we go realize one water pick him. The other didn't want anybody to know, so he was hiding the thing. But later we saw the action. We went near, want to rescue the other boy. Before he tell us one of his brother water take him. That's why he was following him.
His co-diver, Saliu Audu, validated the claims.
If water takes someone here, the first day, the second day, by all means, in people that will come, as do you see dead body? But 3 days, we did not see nobody. Even though they are school, we did not see any student. But we go to the school because they tell us the school, Kimbu, where we go there, Form 1, where we go report.
Daniel Asian claims that the student arrived at the beach at a time learning was ongoing.
But so they came around, let me say, 1 o'clock. And the incident happened around 3 o'clock. Yeah.
So they were here for about 2 hours?
2 hours.
For Kingsley's auntie, Irama Mafo, the police owe them the duty to establish the circumstances that led to the disappearance of their son for justice to be served.
The police for Nambuame. Na Yanson Colanamu. The investigation comes to year. Menya me banu and Colanisem. A colana de on to me lassa.
Stanley New Blau's report read to you.
You're still watching Joy Newsroom. Alfred Agbesi is challenging the Ghana Legal Council's decision to disbar former Chief State Attorney Samuel Nikwin over the transfer of 400,000 cedis into his wife's account. In a notice dated 31st January, the General Legal Council said while defending the state against a suit by Alfred Woyome in 2011, Mr. Nikwin personally caused the direct transfer of the said amount to his wife's account. The Legal Council found his conduct unprofessional, but insisting the Legal Council's judgment was harsh, Alfred Agbesi said he has never paid bribe to anyone.
With Mr. Nekwe Tete is in all the documents that I've just sent you to. These are long issues and other things. But simply to put, Mrs. Nekwe Tete had become my friend. And Nekwe Tete was facing a health issue which I cannot talk about here. Okay? And for that reason, I did that. And nobody give bribe by asking the person, come to my bank, open an account in my bank. Eh? And then the person come and open an account in your bank and you transfer money from your own account into her account. Bribe is not done that way. I've not given bribe before. Maybe those who claim I do, maybe I don't know how to give bribe. Maybe that's why I did it like that. No, we don't give bribe that way. So it was an account opened, which is traditionally what I do. Many of the politicians, both in NDC and MPP, high ranking, they wanted to go to London and things like that. I did the same thing to them. Those ones that are for borrowing, I make sure that there is this trace. So the same thing was for Ms. Nekwe. You are a lady, you are a woman. So when I say that's a health problem, sometimes we have wrongly persecuted this woman. It's bad. It's my money.
But considering the role that Mr. Nekwe was playing in this
okay,
case,
good.
The concern is that that transfer could influence the case.
Okay. Mr. Nekwe had no discussion with me on this matter. I had no case and discussion with Mr. Nekwe. He might have been coming with his minister at that time and things like that. And therefore, even some of the internal memos that I perchance have all indicates really that Nekwe was not in charge. There was a different case officer who was in charge. If you go into the court case, you see those who were in charge of the whole thing. See, I will want you to go into the court cases than this issue of say. It's a media house. You have research people, you have things so that you can sit on authority that I can say he did this, he did that, he did that. I had no discussion with Mr. Nekwe. The first discussion was with government departments, former LOCs and things like that, and every other person, including their own documentations and things. And that has reflected in the Court of Appeal judgment copiously.
What reasons were given by the GLC for refusing you to be joint party to that particular case against Nekwete?
Not, get it right, not joint party. I wanted to.
Okay.
And later on, they didn't want my lawyer to just come in. They said, okay, so I became a witness. And so it served the same purpose. So they have all the knowledge and everything, including with my witness statement. And also their knowledge that this case has been handled, all the reference they are making, there is a, I've shown you 2 court of appeal, quorum, 3 people, unanimous decisions, dealing with this matter and mentioning them copiously. So for them to go ahead and do this one, it's just to drag my name. This gentleman, Nekwe, and other people are suffering because of me. Every time it's something must be made to have Nekwe got the power to sign anything or to withdraw anything or to advise President Mills or the Chief of Staff or anything. Is it not under the, what do you call it, the Attorney General? So did the Attorney General complain that Nekwe didn't go to do case or something like that? It's the narrative of other people.
Now, Member of Parliament for Madina constituency, Francis Xavier Sosu, wants Parliament to urgently consider the Community Sentencing Bill. The bill has had sponsored as a private member has been co-opted by government. In his speeches as a visiting scholar at the Center College and University of South, the MP also urged African leaders to be servants to their people. The MP was recounting his speech in an interview with Joy News.
I could have been a victim of petty crime because I was once a street child. And when I used to be at Malata Market, there were many times I jumped over people's walls to go and pluck mango, and dogs would chase us, and I'll run. Those days, if I were arrested, jumping over somebody's wall would amount to an unlawful entry, and I could have gone to prison for 3 years. And so having gone through all these difficulties myself and now seeing myself as a legislator, it just stands to reason that I would use law as a tool to change some of those things. And that was the reason why I initiated a community sentence bill. Of course, the community sentence bill has been on the banner for a very long time. We've heard several times, Attorney General say we've drafted something they are bringing, they've done this, but it's been 8 years of this government and we still have not seen anything. It was the reason why last December I initiated that community sentence bill. So I had to explain all these things as a background to why I have to do the things I do. And one other major area that I spoke about is the area of the nexus between servant leadership, good governance, and development. And in that lecture, I basically established that even though there are different forms of leadership, the leadership that has principles that can guarantee good governance, such as accountability, openness, incorruptibility, allowing opportunity for all, would be servant leadership. Because servant leaders are people who are empathetic and they make the people the reasons for their leadership. For example, look at what is happening in Senegal. If you're a servant leader, there's no way when your own rules and regulations set a time for elections, when it is time for election, you will say that, I'm sorry, we won't have elections. You see, because then the leadership is leaned towards yourself than the people. Unfortunately, in Ghana, we have had a similar trend.
So watching Joy Newsroom, we've got more for you after this break. Welcome back to Joy Newsroom. Utilize your international loans efficiently. That's the caution from the African Union's Development Agency, NEPAD, to Ghana's sovereign debt crisis. The West African country is currently grappling with its worst economic downturn, forcing the government of Ghana to sign on to a $3 billion austerity bailout plan with the International Monetary Fund. Given the current predicament of his country and others across Africa, President Akufo-Addo is leading a presidential dialogue on the margins of the African Union Summit in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, to push for reforms in development financing. Head of our diplomatic and foreign desk here at Joy News is in Addis Ababa, where the African Union's Development Agency, NEPAD, says poverty and economic downturn is at the heart of the political instability, especially in West Africa, which has seen many coups this year.
This very hall, the Nelson Mandela Hall, is where all of the action will be happening, where we're expecting over 50 heads of state who will be converged in this very auditorium for the plenary session of the 37th Ordinary Session of the African Union. Key on the agenda for the continental body is the year of education, which is now replacing last year's vision of accelerating the African continental free trade area, which is equally not fully off the table, but also key on the agenda for many of these African nations that will be coming is the need to address collectively the political crisis, tension, violent extremism, and the increasing spate of unconstitutional changes in governments across Africa, especially West Africa, which is now bearing the brunt of the highest number of military takeovers that we've recorded. In the last few hours, we've seen a statement from the Economic Community of West African States issuing a statement on the political crisis in Senegal. The belief is that the continental body and the African Union would want to see all of these issues addressed. Earlier today, the Economic, Social and Cultural Council of the African Union says it will be holding a summit in Accra where a dialogue will take place targeted at ensuring calm across West Africa, looking at the increasing spate of violent extremism and also military takeovers that we're recording in the sub-region.
Since then, the issue has continued to progress in, I think, the wrong direction, where you have multiple more countries, experience these incidents. It is something that is very worrisome to the Union. As some of you know, we have continental frameworks and protocols that deal with incidents of UCG. I think some of you have seen some of the responses that have come from both the regional and continental authorities in terms of the sanctions and the expulsions of these member states from the continental and regional bodies. But I think what we do within civil society is, okay, we have the regional frameworks. This is what we have agreed to do as a union. But what can we do beyond that? How can we get to the actual communities to try to understand from the perspective of the citizens, from the people, how they are experiencing these issues? Because we have seen that, a number of these incidents are actually accompanied by what appears to be celebratory reactions from the population. So what does that tell us? So I think these are all of the different things that we are doing in this area. I believe that Ghana is going to be hosting a follow-up forum next month. So ECOSOC is actually part.
The African Union's development agency, NEPAD, says it is equally alarmed at the political crisis taking place in parts of West Africa and other parts of the continent. Chief Executive Officer of NEPAD, Nardos Thomas, at a news conference, says poverty and unemployment remain at the core of this challenge.
While we are doing all this, you see that so many countries are going into unstable, and I'm sure you will ask me that question. But what we're trying to do is really understand that all these political instabilities that we are facing are mostly as a result of lack of development. It's poverty, it's unemployment that drives this. So we've come out with the triple nexus, and we said, listen, you will see us where countries are sanctioned. You will see us in Mali, you will see us in Niger, you will see us in Burkina Faso, you will see us in Guinea. Why? Because that's where we are needed. We need to seal these conflicts with development. We need to give hope to the people of Africa.
It is unclear if all of these measures will yield any positive impact and to address the concerns and the imminent threats to coastal West Africa, including the likes of Ghana and Nigeria, as well as other countries that are now facing this crisis. Until then, blessed Sugan, and giving you all the updates from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia.
Back home in Ghana, Member of Parliament for Damongo in the Savannah region, Samuel Abuja-Napor, is set to be acclaimed by the New Patriotic Party today for the 2024 parliamentary elections. The Lands and Natural Resources Minister was the only candidate who had filed his nomination to contest on the ticket of the NPP by close of nominations on December 25. Now, this will be the second time Abu Jinapor will be running unopposed as the parliamentary candidate for the New Patriotic Party in the Dangmongo constituency. Let's go live now to my colleague Martina Bugri, who has joined us on phone for more updates on that. Thanks so much, Martina, for your time here on Joy Newsroom. Can you confirm to us whether indeed he has been acclaimed yet?
Yes, that was done earlier once they entered the conference hall where the EC officially declared him as the sole candidate to contest on the ticket of the NPP in the 2024 general election. He came in the company of the Chief Sanction Minister, Mr. Samuel Boateng, his wife, and the Minister Designate for Roads, Ashanti Region, Minister Designate for Information, Fatima Abubakar, Deputy Minister for Natural Resources, among other dignitaries. Now they have been striking their supporters out to put in their best to help capture the Savannah region for the MPP. Now let's take from the minister who is currently speaking. Now he's been telling the people that if there is any seat that will be delivered to the MPP in 2024, then it is the Damago seat. They are fired up to present the seat to the party. He's also assuring the party that the Savannah region will be a true battleground because they intend to snatch seats that do not belong to them currently. So his name Salaga and then Tola Tuna Kalba as two seats that they are going to snatch. He's also said that they are going to retain the Daboya seat. Even though it's a new candidate who is going in, they are going to give all the support to pick up the seat. They are exciting their people up to go out, campaign for the party, and help get the votes also for the presidential candidate, who is Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Now, speaker after speaker have been talking about the good work he's done. Mr. Sensubuati says that they learned three things from the presidency, and that is reflection in what Mr. Abu Jinapor is doing in Damango. He says honesty, discipline, and compassion for human beings. And so the development drive that he's bringing in this constituency starts from their working with the president. And they are yet to see more if they continue to support him. And the Minister for Information, Designate, also praised him. He talked of some of the development projects he has personally witnessed Mr. Abu Jinapor bring to the people, and believes that if they continue to support, more would continue to come. Speaker after speaker have talked of the development he's brought, which they say is unprecedented.
And Martina, we understand this is the second time is going unopposed. What could be influencing the members of the party to endorse that?
Now, the regional minister who spoke earlier said, look, the people themselves agree that with the development he's brought to the area, anybody who is going to contest him is just going to waste his resources. And so it was just prudent for they themselves to stay back and allow him go unopposed. And that is why he's been allowed to go unopposed.
Very well. Thank you very much, Martina Bugri, for your time here on Joy Newsroom. And this time round, I would like to take you to Togo, specifically where the multimedia group has been honored for its significant contribution to the fight against malaria in Africa. As a key partner in the Zero Malaria Business Leaders Initiative, led by EcoBank PLC and Speak Up Africa, the multimedia group was praised for playing a crucial role in efforts to reduce the malaria burden across African nations. My colleague Fifi Kumsin was at the award ceremony in Lomé, Togo, and has come through with this report.
Well, this is an award ceremony that followed 3 days of deliberation around funding for the Zero Malaria Business Leaders Initiative by EcoBank and Step Up Africa. We had lots of individuals and organizations participating in this workshop or conference. Then later in the day here in Lomé at the headquarters of EcoBank, there was the award ceremony where various individuals and organizations contributing to the elimination of malaria were honored. And one of the organizations, a media partner to the organization, was the multimedia group, which is made up of the Joy and Adom brands. Of course, over the years, the multimedia group has been dedicated to public interest journalism, dedicating a lot of its airtime to this project. This award will only bolster the resolve of the multimedia group in pushing public interest journalism. It was important for the multimedia group to be a part of the Zero Malaria Business Leaders Initiative, also because the multimedia group has been guided by the principles of leadership, service, and community. And we believe that as leaders in this industry, we have to be a part of an endeavor to end malaria. In fact, in the year 2022, malaria killed more than 600,000 people globally. Of course, Ghana recorded just about 151 of these deaths, but the entire population is still at risk.
Fifi Kumsin there. Back home, the Okudzeto municipality in the Ashanti region is among areas with the lowest family planning acceptance rates in the country. This is because its residents are failing to sign up for family planning. Health authorities are concerned that despite increased advocacy and sensitization, the area performed poorly with a family planning acceptance rate of 11.5 as against the national target of 40%. Municipal Health Director Grace Billy Kamtimbi says her outfit is also faced with negative utterances from members of the public. Here's more in this report.
Ghana's Ministry of Health is committed to increasing the modern contraceptive prevalence rates, especially among married women, from 30% in 2020 to 44.4% by the end of 2030. This is expected to be achieved through expanded method choice, improved service delivery, and enhanced data management. It is also expected to reduce the unmet need for contraception among sexually active adolescents from 30 to 57% by December 2030 through the promotion of reproductive health education, among others. But despite several efforts, including road shows to encourage residents to accept family planning, the acceptor rate is still low in Okudzeto municipality. The area recorded a drop in family planning cases from 4,535 cases in 2021 to 4,480 cases in 2023, representing 11.5% of the total subscribed. The situation has left Municipal Health Director Grace Billy Kamtimbi frustrated.
So the situation in Okudzeto is quite interesting. Over the past 3 years, family planning rate has been consistently low. So in 2022, we did a lot of commodity show. We targeted the university community. We went to lorry terminals, we went to churches, we targeted groups, organized groups like the Dressmakers and Tailoring Association, the Beauticians Association, but it didn't really yield much results. So for 2022, we were able to record a marginal increase. We recorded about 12.9% for family planning, and you realize for 2023 it decreased again to 11.5%, which is a worrying situation. We're also looking at re-registration of the long-term method, that seeks to provide protection for a long period of time.
Ms. Kamtimbi spoke to Joy News on the sidelines of the Assembly's annual performance review. She said despite the setback, the Directorate will continue to engage residents at a time condom usage has also gone down among men. The municipality also saw its skilled delivery figures cut from 43.9% in 2022 to 41.2% in 2023. Ms. Kamtimbi says the Directorate will investigate what is contributing to the trend.
I'm very, very worried about the fact that skilled delivery rates is low. Okay, we have had, so we could attribute it a bit to the fact that some of our midwives have traveled out for greener pastures. However, as a municipality, the numbers that we have for midwives, especially for the government facilities, is still very good. We can't say same for the private facilities. Most of the private facilities do not have these skilled personnel, and that is the reason for which you have most of them referring cases.
Ohimi Teria's report read to you.
Now, Chief Executive Officer of the Forestry Commission, John Aluti, says government has released funds for payment of 4 months allowance owed personnel of the youth in afforestation project. This is part of a 17-month allowance arrears owed to the personnel nationwide. Appearing before the Public Accounts Committee, the Commission also revealed that they have begun scaling down the number of personnel due to a cut in funding from government. My colleague James Aveji was at the committee sitting and has filed this report.
The Forestry Commission was among 3 other institutions who appeared before the Public Accounts Committee on Friday. The rest include the Lands Commission, the Ghana Integrated Iron and Steel Development Corporation, and the Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons. Probing the infractions of the Forestry Commission, the committee sought clarification on the sharp decline in expenditure on the Youth in Afforestation program. The figures declined from 265 million cedis in 2020 to 177 million cedis in 2021. Director of Finance and Administration at the Forest Commission, Samuel Ode, said the decline is due to the Commission's decision to lay off some employees of the program.
Most of the money didn't come to us.
So does that mean that you didn't scale down the program?
Now we are scaling, yes, from 2021 I started scaling down. I said some of the workers started getting jobs, but at the same time we are still owing them. We're still owing some of them. Those who were even in the system, we're still owing them because we've not had all the money at that time.
Explaining further, the Chief Executive Officer of the Commission, John Aluti, revealed to the Public Accounts Committee that government owes current workers and those who have been laid off 17 months in allowance payment.
How much is their allowance?
The allowance varies. I think some are paid 700.
Come again.
Some are paid 700 Ghana cedis.
700?
Yes.
Is that the minimum or the maximum?
That's the maximum.
And then the minimum is how much?
400.
Okay. So from 400 to 700, that's what they receive a month. And government owed them 17 months. So if you are able to clear 3 months,
4 months.
4 months. Are you clearing 4 months or 3 months?
4.
So 13 more months will still be in arrears. So Minister of Finance, unfortunately, the minister is no more. We only appeal to the new minister when he take over. Has taken over already. So, Honorable new Minister for Finance, if you are listening to us, kindly do something about this, our youth in afforestation.
In the ongoing conversations about the exploration of some mineral resources in the Volta and Oti regions, Member of Parliament for Boem, Kofi Adams, raised concerns over the Ghana Integrated Iron and Steel Development Corporation's neglect of key stakeholders in the community engagement.
I asked about your public engagement because I'm so much concerned about what you are doing in Central Kofi, Akpafu, and Jansikan areas. As MP for the area, I'm unaware that you are supposed to be doing any exploratory activities there, and especially for the Akpafu communities and the Bodada areas. It has resulted in all kinds of tension. I was never involved in any of the engagements as a member of Parliament for the area. The chiefs are complaining. So why is it the case that in that area, this level of engagement was not done? I believe that you have seen notices in Central Kofi, Akpafu area that they don't want any exploration on notices all over. I believe you have seen with danger hanging on it.
But Chief Executive Officer of the company, Kwabena Bonsu Fojo, disagrees.
Honorable, I believe extensive community engagements were held in Dambai and all the areas around that area. All the chiefs, the inhabitants, the district assembly, all the stakeholders were invited, and we did very extensive publications in terms of radio announcements, in terms of getting vehicles to go around announcing, and I'm surprised that you weren't informed, because most of the members of parliament for the areas were invited and consulted before we carried out the community engagements.
Elsewhere, management of the Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons told the committee that they have written to the Sierra Leonean High Commission to help trace the whereabouts of a foreign student who left behind a $10,000 unpaid school fees since 2011. The committee resumes sitting on Monday to hear the Ministry of Tourism and the Ghana Integrated Aluminium Development Corporation. James Kwesi-Aveje's report for Joy News.
Quickly to a business story, the Association of Ghana Startups has blamed the delay in drafting the startup bill on lack of resources. The association has made an appeal for support for startups despite the challenges being faced in passing the bill. Speaking to Joy Business at a startup ecosystem mixer program, President of the association, Solomon Eji, expressed hope the bill will be passed by the end of the year. Here's a report. The Ghana Startup Ecosystem Mixer brought together companies, startups and entrepreneurs to network, interact and engage in conversations around partnerships, funding, mentoring and market accessibility. Speaking to Joy Business, President of the Association of Ghana Startups, Solomon Eji, expressed worry about the delay in the drafting of the startup bill, blaming the situation on the lack of resources, thereby impeding its passage. He said a smooth passage of the bill will empower and grow the SME sector.
We have delayed in the drafting stages because of the system in place. You need to go around the entire country and engage as many people as possible. We've been doing this since 2019. Unfortunately, with limited resources, so it's been difficult for us. But by the grace of God, we are almost through the drafting stage, and we're hoping that we'll push to Parliament as soon as possible. First quarter of this year, it should go to Parliament, and then we're hoping that it will get passed before the political Zoom season actually zooms in. And so, yes, for me, the delays is practically because we don't have the needed support that we need in terms of funding to do all the things that we need to do.
Co-founder and director of Strategy Scale Up Africa, Amajampo, urged entrepreneurs not to relax on their oars, but rather take advantage of the existing platforms to market themselves to make a meaningful impact.
That's coming up in the system is not to just do what everyone is doing on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook. We have a lot of fashion designers, a lot of makeup artists, a lot of, there's a lot of that going on. Creative industry, I'm a huge supporter of a creative industry, but there's only so far we can go with the same types of activities going on. So I would really encourage people to be very critical about the problems. We have so many problems and challenges. How do we innovate and create businesses that are based on social needs that are massive in nature? Right, that the average person, the average Ghanaian or the average African cross borders can actually support and engage with. And of course, we're talking about the digital economy as well. It's a huge opportunity, right? How do we leverage businesses with technology to reach new markets and and solve new problems?
Meanwhile, the Association of Ghana Startups said the mixer sets a strong foundation for growth, collaboration and collective success of startups across the country. Thanks so much for watching Joy Newsroom with me, Pius Kojo Baka. For more stories, do log on to myjoyonline.com. Always a delight serving you. Do enjoy the rest of our programs. Bye.